Hello people, welcome back to Go Sleep MMA. In this one, I will be giving my full card predictions for UFC 300 coming up this weekend, April 13th. Very, very excited. First time in 8 years we've had a solid 100 numbered card. 200, of course, being back in 2016. Of course, I actually wasn't a hardcore fan back then. I started watching the sport in 2018. Now, I've went back and I've watched the card, of course, but this would be my first experience of a 100-level card, with it being as deep as it is, and I'm very excited. It is no doubt, in my mind, the deepest card, the best, most stacked card in UFC history. Now, is the main event a little bit disappointing? Maybe even the main card a little bit disappointing relative to what we were promised? Sure. But the depth of this card is absolutely phenomenal, and I cannot wait to witness it this Saturday. Now, let's start off early prelims, opening up the card. We got the two former champions, one in bantamweight, one in flyweight, Deiveson Figueiredo versus Cody Garbrandt. In this one, I see a lot of people picking the same, and I think it's relatively easy. I'm going to go with Deiveson Figueiredo here. And I have a hard time picking him either by decision or by knockout, because we've seen Cody Garbrandt be a little bit chinny. A lot of it chinny. Definitely doesn't have the best chin in the world, but he has come back, looked good in his last couple. Deiveson Figueiredo recently moved up against Rob Font in bantamweight, looked really good in that fight. I'm going to pick Deiveson Figueiredo by decision here, and honestly, I think it'll be relatively easy for him. I'm going to go with a 30-27 decision for Deiveson Figueiredo. I just think he's going to be the more powerful guy, advantage on the ground, and just able to outpoint Cody Garbrandt. Moving up on the card, Bobby Green versus Jim Miller, two OGs. And you know what? I'm going to take momentum on this one. I'm going to go with Jim Miller. I think he's going to get the better of Bobby Green. We've seen Bobby Green get viciously put out by the man two slots above him in this here card. But I think Jim Miller is going to get him down, get a hold of his neck, and I'm going to go with a second round rear naked choke for Jim Miller. And maybe he announces retirement at 300. The dude's like 40 years old. So moving up, we got Jessica Andrade versus Marina Rodriguez. Now, of course, this is one of the least anticipated fights on the card. Not even because it's WMMA. I'm not one of those guys that hates on women's fights inherently for them being women. But this fight is just not really that interesting to me. I'm going to pick Andrade by knockout. It's just a feeling, to be honest. I didn't really do much tape study for this one. I'm just going on a hunch. I like Jessica Andrade more than I like Marina Rodriguez. Of course, that record's kind of yucky, but she is the younger woman. She definitely is very, very powerful. Good boxing. I'm going to go with Jessica Andrade by knockout. Moving up to the last early prelim we got here, Jalen Turner versus Renato Moicano. Both guys looking very good lately. Jalen Turner, of course, coming off that absolutely disgustingly late stoppage knockout over Bobby Green. And I'm going to take him. He's massive, he's explosive, he's fast, he's powerful. And I think he's going to chin Renato Moicano probably in the first or second round. I don't know why, but I'm not a big... I don't know why, but I'm not a big fan of Renato Moicano. Never really have been. Think he's kind of cringe, but he's kind of funny at the same time. I don't know. I'm going to go with Jalen Turner to knock him out. I'm going to go officially to say in the second round. Moving up to the prelims of UFC 300. Starting off, we got Sadiq Youssef versus Diego Lopez. I'm going to go with the hype train on this one, I think. I'm going to go with Diego Lopez. Kid's a savage. We've seen him pick apart who has a Pat Sabatini, who's not a bad fighter. We've seen him dismantle Gavin Tucker. Looked really good against Movsar Evloev in his UFC debut. And I just think he's going to get it done here. I think he's going to get it done probably by either a decision or a submission. I'll go third round triangle choke. Third round triangle choke for Diego Lopez over Sadiq Youssef. I could see Sadiq Youssef getting it done as well. Very talented fighter, but we all rock with my emo boy, Diego Lopez. Moving up if she makes weight, Kayla Harrison is going to win by strikes from half guard. Moving up, we got Calvin Kattar versus Aljamain Sterling. Very interested in this fight, to be honest. We got a good striker, the bigger guy, Calvin Kattar, going up against former bantamweight champion, moving up to featherweight for the first time, the wrestler, jiu-jitsu specialist, Aljamain Sterling, the human backpack. I'm going to go with Calvin Kattar. I think he's going to be able to keep this on the feet, and I think he's light years ahead of Aljamain Sterling on the feet. Now, of course, if Aljamain Sterling is able to get this to the ground and get on his back, it could be game over for Calvin Kattar. His rear naked choke is nasty. But I'm gonna go with Calvin Kattar being able to keep this on the feet and absolutely just batter Aljamain Sterling to a 29-28 unanimous decision for Calvin Kattar, either sending Aljamain Sterling back down to bantamweight, or sorry, I dropped my mic there, or making him, have to take a much needed step back and a bit of an easier opponent in the featherweight division than Calvin Kattar. Moving up to the featured prelim, we got Yuri Prochazka versus Alexander Rakic. Another kind of striker versus grappler matchup. We know Yuri's going to want to keep this on the feet, even though Alexander Rakic is a big guy, very rangy, long reach, awkward, definitely a good fighter. But of course, I'm picking a lot of favorites and a lot of fan favorites in this fight, but I'm going to go with Yuri Prochazka here. He's if you go way back, one of the first videos on my channel, Yuri Prochazka was on my top 5 favorite fighters list. This is probably a little bit of bias, but I got to go with my boy Yuri Prochazka to come back from that early stoppage loss back in, November, and win this in a bit of a... I think this is going to be a really good win for Yuri Prochazka. I'm going to go with a second round knockout, Yuri Prochazka over Alexander Rakic. Alrighty, this last part of the video is going to be by far the quickest because I've already made separate videos on the top 4 fights on this main card here. So if you want to go see a more in-depth breakdown on what I think is actually going to happen, what round and blah, 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 things like that, go check out those 4 videos on the Arman Charles, Justin Max, Weili Yan, and Alex and Jamal fights. I have them all on the channel. They're my most recent videos. Please go check them out. But starting off the main card, opening up the main card, who should be opening up the night, Cody Bumdage versus Bo Nickel. Listen, we know what's happening here. Bo Nickel's going to win this one. I'm going to go with either a second round ground and pound TKO or a second round submission. I think he's going to be able to get him down and get him done. I'm going to give Brundage a little more credit than I've seen a lot of people giving him. I see way too many people predicting like a first minute win for Bo Nickel. I'm going to give Cody Brundage the benefit of the doubt that he can survive the first round. I think Bo Nickel will win the first round and finish him in the second round. But I'm officially going to say Bo Nickel by decision. No, that's not what I meant to say. Don't listen to me. Bo Nickel by submission in the second round. We'll do a rear naked choke. All right. Moving up on the card, Charles and Arman. Pound for pound, skill for skill. This is, I think, the most high-level fight on the card. We got Arman Tsarukyan, who is a very high-level striker, high-level grappler. Not quite on the level of jiu-jitsu as Charles Oliveira, but he's really strong, explosive, and fast. Good chin on him. Charles Oliveira, also very technical striker, incredibly technical on the ground. His wrestling is not up to par where Arman's is, but his jiu-jitsu far and wide makes up for it. In this one, I'm going to go with the younger guy with the more momentum. And I'll take Arman Tsarukyan. I think he's going to knock him out. Again, if you want to see a more in-depth reason to why I think Arman Tsarukyan is going to knock out Charles Oliveira, go check out the video. Moving up, the BMF, I wish you could see my air quotations, the BMF title, Justin Gaethje versus Max Holloway. This is one where I'm going with the underdog. I'm going against the norm. I think Max Holloway is going to take this one. And I believe in my video I said a 48-47 or 49-46 decision. One of those two. I think he has the durability, he has the output, and he has the slightly better defense to be able to get this one done. Justin Gaethje, if he does connect, he has the power. But I have a feeling Max has a good chance to get this one done. Moving up on the card, the co-main event, I think this is just going to be Zhang Weili proving who she is once again. The best strawweight on the planet. I think she's going to dominate from bell to bell pretty well. I think she might lose one round. I think she's going to lose the first round to Yang Jianan and then absolutely dominate her for the rest of the fight. I see a 49-46 unanimous decision. I believe 12, 13, 15 plus minutes of ground control time and a lot of ground strikes. I think this will be a domination by Zhang Weili. Moving up to the main event, Jamal Hill, Alex Pereira. I think Alex Pereira is going to get this done by a knockout, left hook, ground and pound. I think a lot of the explosivity and a lot of the speed of Jamal Hill is in question, considering he's only 9 months post a ruptured Achilles. That is usually a year-plus long layoff. So I don't think he'll have the same movement, the same ability that he had pre-injury. And if Alex is smart, he's going to be targeting that leg. And if Jamal's smart, he'll be shooting takedowns. But honestly, even your entries and your takedowns and your shots are going to be less, or I shouldn't say less fast. They're going to be slower. And they're going to be more telegraphed. And I just think that all things considered, if this was a good training camp with a healthy Jamal Hill, this could be a different story. But with all things considered and everything and the little bit of momentum that Poatan has going for him right now, I'm going to say Alex Pereira gets it done by a knockout. I forget what round I said in my official prediction video. Go check it out. But I believe I said a second or third round knockout for Alex Pereira. But yeah, that's all I got for this one. Predicting all of UFC 300. Let me know what ones I got wrong in the comments. There's definitely a few where I went against the grain. I'm fine with that. I can take losses on the chin. Let me know what you guys think in the comments of all your picks for UFC 300. Subscribe if you love all things MMA. I'll be having tons of content this week coming up to 300 and in the week after talking about what happened at 300. So if you're in for all that, subscribe, like the video, post notifications, and all that jazz that all the other YouTubers tell you to do. And I appreciate you guys so much for watching. And as always, go sleep.